and sing it one and all. Join in the chorus, North Melbourne's on the ball. Good old North Melbourne, they're champions, you'll agree. North Melbourne is the team that plays to win for you and me.
Welcome back, Shinboners, and a special welcome to anyone now listening to us on YouTube. We've recently joined the platform, so thank you to everyone who has subscribed thus far. And if you have a YouTube profile, give us a subscribe. Just purely audio at the present time, but we do have some video content coming hopefully soon.
Do we?
Yes. You wouldn't know. I don't barely know how to do it, let alone you. It would be... letting, as Borat said, like letting a monkey fly a plane. It would be like to let you in charge of any sort of video content. But welcome, Chief.
Thanks, Baz. Huge episode today. Huge.
We've got tons to cover, so I'll preview a little bit for our listeners what we are going to speak about. So, obviously, all the recent news, the delistings, the re-signings, a couple of stadiums being named, which we'll get right into. Potential away venues to have our home games, and then of course the AFLW and the main event. We're going to look back at our crystal ball predictions that were made all the way back in February.
The battle,
and we're going to see who comes out on top. And
battle between the Chief and Bazza.
There's going to be some face palming. There's going to be some laughing, and there's some. I've had a look through. There's some bad calls.
Oh dear.
There's also a couple.
It was that in February.
Yes,
but that's no excuse. We should know better.
So yeah, I suppose we better start at the top with the most recent news. Cooper Harvey today has been given a 1-year deal.
Yes. Minor surprise. Wasn't it?
I thought they were going to delist and re-rookie him.
I thought he might rookie at best, but now he's on the proper list. So yeah, probably a minor surprise, but he gets 1 year. He and Eddie Ford are on the 1-year deals, aren't they? So
I know who I'd take.
Yes,
but that leaves
it gives him one last chance as a son of a legend, I suppose. But we shouldn't have any nepotism coming into it. It should be on your quality. So
yeah, I think if
big year for Coop to prove his quality.
If his surname's not Harvey, I'm not sure he's getting that deal.
Yes, maybe, but anyway, we trust the club until they stuff up, and then we bag them.
Yeah, but what it does is leaves only 3 list spots left.
Yes, well, we've only got 2 real draft picks. Well, 1 real one, number 2. And then 62, which will come into the 50s.
Which is be R. Stevens.
Which will still be good. No, I don't. I think they'll rookie him. Well, you think he'll be on the proper list?
I wouldn't be shocked if he is.
Well, we don't know if he's actually nominated us, and we've guaranteed him as a father-son.
Please.
Yeah, I know. But
Anthony wouldn't let him back inside if he didn't.
No.
He'd be sleeping outside homeless.
Well, I don't think there's a lot of want for him outside our club either, so... We can let him slide through and get him for free in inverted commas, as in we don't have to pay a draft choice if he gets through the whole draft without anyone else nominating him.
Yeah, it's very
but
similar.
He does have to nominate us as wanting to be a father-son, as far as I understand.
It's very similar to the Jackson Archer situation, where he wouldn't have been taken by any other clubs, more than likely, but look how he's turned out. So.
Yeah, it's in the most prestigious club of them all.
North Melbourne.
Yeah, the CCC. It's a club within the club.
And then yesterday, delistings. So we said goodbye to Charlie Lazaro.
No surprise. I think that would have been one of the predictions we would have got right in February, that it was going to be a big year for him. So he got a fair run. It's very cutthroat, this industry. 4 years is, I think, the average of players on a list. So he's made the average.
And he's just fallen victim of playing well in the VFL but can't translate, not quite good enough for AFL and our midfield depth.
Yeah, and he's kicking. Even in the VFL when he was playing well, his kicking was still a worry. Yeah, and you know Clarko loves his players to be good users by foot. That's obviously why we've got Daniel into the club.
And who was the other one delisted for the listeners who might not be fully across it, Chief?
The Shermanator, Blake Jury.
He did pole in the Basti this year.
He did. The most prestigious award in all the AFL. But bit short, bit like Charlie. They're both short, and they didn't have any elite traits.
No X factor.
No X factor.
There's a
no
small
elite
pressure
trait.
forward.
I thought little Drury showed a bit in his first ever game. Actually took a contested mark for a bloke who's 5'2".
Against the Saints, from memory.
Yes, but he didn't ever improve. He only played, a dozen odd games. Didn't play a lot.
Best game this year against Geelong. I think he kicked 2 or 3 and looked all right. And that's when he did pole in the votes.
Yeah.
But to be fair, it wasn't
flogged.
hard because we got belted.
No,
so.
we had to search long and hard for the 2s and the 1s in that game, didn't we? And he got through the whole draft. He was taken in the pre-season draft.
Pick 1 in the rookie draft.
Yes, so you don't expect a lot. Sometimes you can find a hidden nugget, but more often it's a brown nugget.
Oh, gee, there you go. Cutting edge analysis right there. But yeah, we wish both the boys luck. Hopefully they get another opportunity, but just couldn't quite make it work.
Yeah, and I loved going back to Charlie. I loved he spoke really well about the club in his first year. He loved passion, bit of almost a jumper pool type moment, as in Will Phil. But he obviously loved the club, and they're probably both river blokes. They certainly seem to be. Who's going to draw the footy? Clarko's the oval on the whiteboard for Clarko. One of the new draftees, maybe.
Without a doubt. But yeah, I can't see Drury getting picked up. Maybe Lazaro.
No, I can't see. You'll play for a VFL team and dominate and try and get a second chance that way. Maybe in the mid-season draft if the team needs a undersized midfielder.
Yeah. The next item on the agenda, right? We've, I reckon, the podcast page got tagged in this about 100 times when it dropped. So I was at work and I'm thinking, what's going on here? There's stuff everywhere. People are tagging us in. What's happened? So I've clicked on maybe LDU's re-signed. I got to be excited when I saw so many.
You felt positive news.
Yeah, and I've clicked on it. And our beloved Boot Park has now been renamed from Blundstone Arena to Ninja Stadium. What's going on there?
Ninja.
That's a horrendous name.
Can I say I didn't see that one coming?
No, and it's a... What is Ninja?
It's Shark Ninja homewares. Yeah. So look out. You need new kitchen appliances or any homewares because surely we've mentioned them twice now. Shark Ninja.
Yeah.
That's got to be the next sponsorship we go after.
I think so. I think
our mainland listeners, over this. Because it made the Tassie news, obviously, but I don't think it would have made the mainland.
No, it did.
Did it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Greater sports news. I wouldn't say it was on the bulletin, but it was on the social media platforms. But we did get a couple of people wanting to know. Brett Hay on X has said, has the Big Chief put in his order for a blender?
Well, I got it just before you read that because, yes, we have.
And long-time listener as well, as Brett is Shinboner, who says, Chief still picking up the pieces that his Wilson home shack at Swansea's fallen through.
I know, what's going on there?
And he's planning on a fire sale on his block. Mrs. Chief has, as of today, had to get a second job to cover the Chief's ass.
Yeah. Well, you put me on to Wilson Homes, and what happened there?
That was the Brent Costello report.
Well, yeah, it was reported on the 9 News, local 9 News, Win News. Maybe that's another one for Media Watch.
Yeah, boy. All right, we won't spend too much more time on that. David Noble was on the Sacked podcast, the Herald Sun podcast with John Ralph, and I can't think who the other gentleman's name is, but some interesting comments. I just want to read you and the listeners a little quote from that. So this is David Noble speaking on Jason Horne-Francis. Some environments don't suit and you just have to move on. I think he said it was either him or me, but we both ended up going. Imagine being an 18-year-old walking into a club and dictating who's the coach and everything. I mean, from the outside looking in, obviously it was not a steady ship under Nobes and other upper management, but gee, the kahunas on an 18-year-old to think that.
Yeah, just take over the club. Well, he's out of the club now, so anyway, that probably explains a bit. He didn't get on with Nobes, but he still left under Clarkson's watch, didn't he? After the Hawthorn
That's the thing that
exploded, which probably maybe he would have stayed. That's
the thing that pisses a lot of people off because we saw at the grand final breakfast, he was being interviewed. He said, I can't wait to play under Clarko, and then Port must have delivered the MG to Fabian Francis's driveway, and then it was...
Well, that's another pot. If there's the AFL got to crack down on this stuff, and I don't know whether that's rumour, true, how it's looked into. I saw Chris Scott just going off script here. He got big role with some company down or a major sponsor of Geelong.
Yep.
Can't
He's the
remember
leadership partner or leadership manager.
Apparently that's been ticked off by the AFL. So how's that not fall just makes the rich richer?
I think Bailey Scott might be CEO of Cotton On by the time we finish recording today.
It's just, if you're going to have a salary cap and a draft to try and even it out, and then you got all the academies and everything coming in, it just waters it all down. So what's the point? Just make it like the English Premier League, where only 4 teams ever win. Yeah, and they're owned by Russian billionaires.
Poor.
That's where we're heading down the path. I'm not a socialist, but we're going to be socialist with the AFL to give the smaller clubs some chance.
Yeah, and we see it in free agency. The smaller clubs are no chance.
Well, that was meant to help us out, but they haven't looked into that. Well, went the other way, and they've done nothing to rectify it.
They're each getting richer.
But just as a little tease, I have got a bit of a fix. I've tried to fix the umpires. I've got a little fix for the academies and father-sons.
I like it, but we've got a lot to talk about today, so we'll park that for a future pod. The WA chat that North are interested in selling a home game in WA. What are your thoughts on that when that was reported?
Well, I don't mind it. This is to brief everyone who's not over it. This is because obviously the Devils are coming in to play in Hobart at Ninja Stadium. Oh, Stadium.
No, they won't play there. But
the Devils.
Yeah, they won't play there.
Oh, no, they won't either, sorry. Well, they will because they haven't turned aside yet on the new stadium because they're still fighting politically about it.
That could be a 4-hour grind on gears if you want to start.
And anyone who's not Tasmanian or even in Hobart is probably not interested, really. So, what are we talking about? Selling games to WA. I'd still like us to get up into country Victoria somewhere and try and grow a proper, sustainable base.
Yes, please.
But WA's... We tried to do that years ago. And as a one-off, fly in, play 2 games over there in the week, make it a mini hub. So you play West Coast away on the Sunday and then hopefully a Thursday night against Freo.
Oh, we don't know. It's a bit of a short break.
Or Friday. That's what you need. You'd be over there for 6 days, play your 2 games. It's just one trip. Oh, Darling wouldn't be too happy, would he? Just I've just got off that long flight. Now they're putting me back on it for a home game. But, go over there, play 2 games in a week, mini hub. One is our home game, one is the away. Obviously make a lot of money. That's what it's about.
Yeah,
and we have got a loyal fan base. Well, you be all over this. The King of Perth Radio and the Batman podcast over out of Perth.
I'll tell you, I might fly over with the team.
Yeah, you might be on the flight. Yeah. Over there doing all the media.
Yeah.
You're a well-known figure in Perth.
Yeah, I think Harry would have to sit behind me. I think I'd be first in line when they're...
You'd be up the front. You'd turn left on the plane.
Yeah.
Say, out of my way, boys. Chime, you can get down the back and put your knees up round your ears in economy.
But yeah, it'd be interesting to see if that's the route they go. I mean, it's easy for us to say as Tasmanians. It doesn't really affect us if they play there instead. But the Melbourne-based supporters were...
If it's one game and they're going to get the other 3 because they play 4 in Hobart at the moment. So they'll still get 3 extra games and maybe 2 of those to get up to Bendigo or something.
Yeah, we're big on that.
But we've got to be careful we don't spread our brand. We'll play, all over the place and end up converting no one.
We end up in New Zealand, like St Kilda tried to.
Yeah.
Right, so that's about all for the start of the agenda. Let's get into the AFLW. The girls had a massive win, 58-7 over the Filth. Absolutely obliterated them, which was great to see, although it was a much tighter contest in the second half.
Yes, we lost our connection to our forwards in the second half. I thought it was like the old days where we used to dominate but not really be able to put a score on the board. Remember, that was only like even up to last year, we found it hard to connect our midfielders and forwards and turned into a score.
But I will caveat that by saying that Essendon were on a 4-game win streak and they're
not a bad side. They're not a bad side, yeah.
And we still flexed our muscles and showed that we're a much better team, but it was a much more even contest in the second half.
Yes, I've done the positive and negatives again. So
right.
I just find that easier than going quarter by quarter.
Yeah, we're not doing that for this, but yeah.
No. All right, have you finished? You want me to go off with some positives?
Yeah,
a lot more positives. There wasn't much red pen today. Oh, the other day. I thought North were great in the contest, and we managed to outnumber them, or it appeared to outnumber them in the contest. Even though if you had the broad view of the ground, you probably found we'd like to have one loose in the back line, so we probably didn't outnumber them in total numbers, but we got round the ball in better numbers, and our second and third efforts were really good. I thought inside 50 dominance that first quarter, 15-0.
Yeah, crazy.
15-0. Just smashed them. Shows how good we were in the contest and the midfielders to get the ball forward. And once we get the ball forward, we can really set the ground up how we like it to defend. Gat and O'Shea were really good, weren't they, with their ball use and their run. They give that run, and Gat's a great kick inside 50.
She is. You feel very safe with her delivering it in there, don't you?
Yes. I thought Amy Smith worked really hard, and she's been building over the last few weeks, and I thought it was the best game for the club for her. 3 tools up forward looked really dangerous. They all had their turns at looking dangerous. We didn't quite maximise on the scoreboard. It was a windy day, and we've heard from Emma Carney when she was on the pod that the smaller or more lighter ball can really be affected in windy conditions. So I'm giving them a little out for that, but goalking's going to be vital when it comes to finals and we get a close game.
Yeah, you're going crook. For the listeners out there, I'll paint the picture. So there was a couple of misses from gettable, especially the Emma King one. I mean, she's the best set shot we've got, and she just missed a very, very gettable one by her standards.
And that wasn't the wind. I think she just, unless it affected the ball drop, because it just went straight through the behinds. It wasn't even close.
The Big Chief not impressed whatsoever.
No, because I really rate her kicking. She kicks with a really straight leg and is on target 9.9 times out of 10. And we built her up the previous pod saying she was the safest kick in the club for kicking for goal. Sheila and Randall was like carried along for those older listeners like myself back in the 90s. Sheila took a great mark around the 50, then played on quickly and straight to Randall's. Yeah, very carried along esque. That's just the 3 tall forwards. If you get it in quick and kick it half to their advantage, or at least not to their disadvantage, that they normally do the rest. Smothers was really good. Oh, I love I love the 1%ers, the competitive stuff, the tackling. I mean, tackling, I'll just say Vicky Wall and we'll end it there. She's just great again.
Tripodi, M. King.
Yep. And Randall's tap on. What we had a bit of a negative last week where she couldn't struggle picking the ball up a bit slow picking it up when we had that out the back type thing. She tapped it on twice.
I think there might have been Croc might have tuned in and listened to the Shinboners
It's got back to Croc, you reckon? I reckon it might have, because it was the first opportunity she had. That's exactly what she did. And unfortunately, it didn't result in a goal, but it looked a lot better.
Oh, it was great.
Yeah.
Great opportunity.
And she did it twice, that I can recall. So that's a big tick. Right, a couple of negatives. I said when we win the contest in the centre breaks, we really set the ground up well. I'm just wondering how much our back line's been protected by our midfield. I think our back line's done a great job. They set it up. Ever since Croc took over coaching, he's really got the girls playing a great defensive system. We've always been the best defensively. But if we lose that centre bounce or centre clearance, are we going to be exposed? Just a question mark. It's not really a negative, but it's we have been protected. We're able to play the game on our terms because our mids are so dominant. Be a big test against Adelaide because they've got 2 of the best mids in the comp. And I think their ruck's pretty good too, isn't she?
Yeah, and they've got a good forward line.
Yeah, so so our backs will really have, and we might get to be against Essendon and most of the teams we've played recently. We've been able to set the ground up how we wanted. The last time we couldn't really was against Geelong. We know how that ended. So it's just a watch.
I will say, though, they had a lot of inside 50s in the second half, and the back line
held up,
by Libby Birch and Sarah Wright.
I think they can hold up, but I'm just thinking they're being looked after because we're just smashing teams out of the middle. And then we set the ground up how we like it. And our forwards and our mids and everyone is putting pressure on the kicker. So it's more a hack kick or an under pressure kick, which our loose can just mop up.
I reckon Aidan Core watches on and goes, geez, I wouldn't mind a bit of this.
Yeah.
Rather than it coming straight from the front of a stoppage.
Well, Aidan, if you're still listening, back shoulder.
Yeah.
Back shoulder for you. Our kicking to the forwards after half time was pretty haphazard. Like, it didn't really. We had a lot of entries still, but we couldn't get it on the scoreboard because we couldn't hit a forward target as we probably should have. And yeah, it just comes in a lacking bit of connection, which I mentioned before, between the mids and the forwards. So, but it's been good all year, but it's just a bit of a watch. So the girls, I mean, they can't do more than win, can they?
No.
And they're winning comfortably, but big tests against Adelaide, who've probably fallen off a little bit. I haven't really followed.
They've
Not
on par with North.
are they?
Yeah, they've
so
been...
big test of their home ground, and if we win, I think we'll play them week 1 of the finals.
Yeah.
Last week we forgot to mention we've locked in finals, so a win now will lock in.
We've locked in the top 4.
Yeah, and a win against Adelaide will lock in top 2 because we should beat Gold Coast. And you never want to get ahead of yourself. And you 1 week at a time.
Dennis, all I can hear is Dennis Pagan.
Yeah. Don't piss on my back and tell me it's raining.
Yeah. Size 8. Size 8 hat with the size 10 head.
Yes. But yeah, don't get ahead of ourselves, but we should be too good for Gold Coast. So, big game this weekend. If we win it, we should finish on top. And predicting a little bit, Adelaide will probably finish 4th, so it'll be a rematch, but this time at Arden Street. So, big game, big Friday night lights. So, once again, it takes me back to the 90s and the men's when we dominated Friday night. So, I'm looking forward to it. Let's
Norwood
go,
Oval
girls.
too, which is I went to earlier this year.
You did.
Good viewing, except the sun was horrendous there, but it's a nice ground. Very nice ground to watch football at.
Yep, just don't run into the brick wall.
Yeah.
Well, Vicky Wall runs into it. Wall v Wall. I reckon Vicky will smash it.
Yeah, Vicky
Put a
Wall
big hole in
defeats
it.
Brick Wall.
Yes, exactly.
Right, let's get into the Emma Carney Player of the Year award. So I'll take the new ball this week. I gave the 5 votes to Ash Riddell. She was everywhere. Just back to her. Not that she was off, but she was a little bit quieter the last sort of fortnight. But I thought she was our best mid and led the scoring drives early and was quite dominant in setting up that early lead. The 4 votes I gave to Jazz Garner. She was quietish in the first half, but really stood up in the second, especially when it started going Essendon's way. She was winning a lot of clearance and contests and hit the scoreboard as she usually does. And we mentioned off air, she gets the bit of the Harry Sheasel tax that you're just so good that expectation's there. The 3 votes I gave to Tess Craven. I thought she was fantastic. About 2 minutes into the game, she took a really good mark and a lot of good spoils as well. So her defensive game as well as her kicking, she's our best kick-off half-back. She's been a good replacement for Emma Carney back there. She's very safe with the ball. I thought she was great. 2 votes I gave to Kate Sheelaw. 2 goals early, ended up with 3. Took some great marks, got involved in the scoring chain. And 1 vote, Amy Smith. We mentioned her a bit earlier, but I thought her defensive work's really, really good. A bit of an underrated player at the club, I think, and imperative to our success. And I thought she needed to be rewarded with a vote for her best game of the season. What say you?
I agree with everything you've said, but mine are a slightly different order, and there's a bigger mission, which we'll talk about at the end. I gave 5 to Sheila. I thought she set the game up in the first quarter, really. That goal from the boundary. And when we talk about the missing set shots from in front, when you're kicking from the boundary with that wind, fantastic. Gave a contest, took marks, really good. 4, I gave to Ash Riddell. You covered her. She's just in and under everywhere. 3 gave to Randall. I thought another big key. He just gives a good contest all the time. Obviously listens to the pod now, taps it on to the quicker players.
She got an extra vote for that, didn't she?
Yeah, she went up 1 for that. But she kicked 2 again, didn't she? Yeah, so she's always hitting the scoreboard. I just like her to have a breakout game. Well, not breakout, because she's been a star for a long time, but, kick 4 straight or 5 straight would be nice. 2 to Amy Smith. I thought was her best ever game, and she's always a workhorse. Like, I don't know if she has a tagging role as well. It's a bit harder to tell from the television, but I reckon she does because she's more defensively minded than the others. And yeah, she was just hard at it and in at it she seemed to be on the screen all day watching it on TV as we had to. And 1 to Craven. She could have been a bit higher, but I thought she was our best defender and best kick now that Carney's not there. Uses it well. Got a fist in, like you said. provided some run and drive off there. Really good. So you might have noticed a glaring omission, the GOAT.
Oh, boy. Apologies, Janet, if you're listening.
She got hit by the ATO. The Australian Tax Office came and took the Harry tax, as you like to call it, off her. She was very unlucky, but she's so consistently good, and all the others I thought were good, and I thought the tall forwards were a really point of difference with the team. And the game was set up in the first half. The third quarter was a bit of we just couldn't score, could we?
Nobody scored.
No, it was a bit of a snorf. It was just between the arcs or money in our forward line, but we couldn't seem to hit the scoreboard. So I always apologise to someone, but it's a big apology. But she's paid all the tax now.
I'm not going to rake you over the coals, because unlike when we do the Basti for the men, there's probably 5 to 9 players that you could pick for your 5.
Yep.
So there's lots of... It's a lot of
Mia
competition.
King's another one who was unlucky. She was in everything as usual. So you go through half the team, and it's a nice problem to have, to fit all our good players into 5 votes.
It is. So just taking a quick look at the leaderboard. Ghana in first place on 69. Riddle. I read it as Riddle.
The Joker.
She's on 59 in second place. Emma Carney still holds on in third on 26
Which
votes.
is fantastic for her, because I know a few of my votes early in the season, they were going to Jazzy and Ash, and she was coming in third, whereas easily could have got more than the 3 votes.
In fourth place, breathing down her neck on 24 votes, is Mia King, and in fifth on 17 votes is Kate Shearlaw. So there's the top 5 as we head to the business end of the AFLW season, and we're all very excited for Friday night's clash.
Yeah.
But
let's hope all our good players play well again, because that should result in the W we're after.
And hopefully Sarah Wright is good to go after a bit of an ankle injury late.
Yeah, it said test last I checked. And it still said for Carney 3 to 4 weeks, or 3, whatever the first final will be, 3 weeks. So I don't know if she's touch and go. It almost rested for the first final.
Yeah,
well, you got a double. We'll have a double chance, no matter what the results. So you don't want to picking it in a final.
No, you back the group in. That is a conversation we'll definitely have on this pod come probably a fortnight away.
But we said the same about O'Shea, and she played really well. Well, different, obviously. Hers was an ankle, but it looked bad when it happened. But she played really well, and obviously wasn't hindered too much by it.
Right, let's turn our attention to the crystal ball. So I've gone back and had a look. It was recorded on the 7th of February.
Was it like watching an old episode of The Simpsons? Or listening to an old episode where everyone sounds a bit weird?
Yeah.
Because the characters hadn't really developed? Did it sound weird, did it?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Well, it's always weird listening to yourself.
I know, I'm not a big fan of that.
And you never listen to me, so it would have been the first time.
Yeah, exactly.
Hearing what I say.
Yeah. But I had to listen back to hear what we'd said. So we're going to keep a point if you get it right.
Yes.
And then it's 2 points when it comes to the ladder if you get the exact position.
Yeah, the ladder we're doing nearest the pin.
Yeah.
As in golfing terms, one that gets nearest the mark. And if you get it spot on, you get 2 points. So we're going to do the predictions, and then we'll have a score update, and then we'll get onto the ladder, which should sort us out.
Yes, right. Let's get straight into it. So, the Premiers. We both tipped Brisbane, but I will say, about round 13 on this podcast, we said, sell all the stock you have in the Lions. They can't win the Premiership.
Yes, I was going to admit to that as well, because they lost 4 in a row, and they were about 14th or something.
Yeah.
They were out of it, and we abandoned ship. So we'll go the glass half full, and we'll give ourselves a point for that, but we could easily take one off as well.
The Brownlow medal. You tipped a tie between Nick Dacos and Marcus Bontempelli. And I tipped Dacos, so we're both wrong there.
Yeah, so no points.
No points. Rising Star, we both tipped George Wardlaw. And he was unlucky to finish second, but didn't get the chocolates, so both wrong there.
Yeah,
so
but didn't we do a top 3 for the Rising Star?
we did.
Well, let's go through the top 3, and we'll give a point to who got closest.
All right, so I had Wardlaw, Riley Sanders, Colby McKercher.
Yep.
You had...
George got second, and Colby got 5th, didn't he, from memory?
I don't have the list in front
No,
of me.
I'm pretty confident he got 5th.
And you had Wardlaw, Reid and McKercher.
I think I get a tick.
Yeah, I think
Harley Reid was going to win it if he didn't get suspended. So I'm glad I made that a point because he won in front of you.
Yep. Surprise All-Australian. You had Cam Zurhaar.
Yeah, it was a surprise re-signing, probably more than anything.
Yeah.
But, not really a surprise.
I had Connor Iden from the Giants. So neither made the 44, so neither get a point there.
No points there.
First coach sacked was our next category. You had Luke Beveridge. He survived. And I had Justin Longmuir, and he signed 2 days after Freo heard that and said, no,
They
stuff
said,
you.
no, he's not getting sacked. We're not getting him poached.
Oh, dear.
I wonder if he'd have been sacked if they hadn't re-signed him after he's... Well, they were sitting top 4 and then missed the finals. Lost 4 in a row.
Fell off a cliff.
And one, they were in front easily, weren't they? Or comfortably. And
This
then
isn't a
fell off.
Purple Haze podcast.
No,
Nobody cares.
Just trying to think. Okay.
Get stuff, Freo.
No points either.
How many wins for North? We both had 7, so we're both way overs. But I've got a direct quote here that I wrote down from you, and it says, if we don't win 3/4 of the games against Hawthorn and West Coast, I will be on a warpath. Well, we lost both to Hawthorn and we lost 1 to West Coast.
So we won, instead of 3 out of 4, I got 1 out of 4.
Yeah.
Well, is that? Do you want a point for that?
No, it was just funny
Well,
to look
take
back
one
on.
off me.
The Roo under the most pressure. So I had the Rucks. So I had Big X and CCJ.
Who'd you have? Big X.
Yeah.
How'd he go? How did he rise to the pressure?
So
He came out of the pressure cooker beautifully.
yeah. I mean, the only saving grace for me is I had CCJ in there too, but you had Curtis Taylor, which he got delisted, so that's a point for you. You were
I'm definitely taking a point for
taking
that.
one there. Breakout seasons. So we had one from the AFL from the other 17 teams and one from our mighty Roos. You had Finn Callahan from the Giants and Colby McKercher from North. So
Well, soft target Colby, wasn't he?
yeah. I had Hayden Young from the Dockers,
Oh, that's a big tick.
who was one of the highest rated players in the comp, and Charlie Combin, who
Yeah.
was a star for us. So I think I'm taking the point there.
Well, we can take one each. How do you rate GWS guys' season?
Callahan, not as good as Young's. Young was the best inside.
Yeah,
50
he
kick.
was. Yeah, okay, I'll give you a point.
Here we go. This will be... So our sure thing headline. You had Young Kangas lead way in surprise win.
Yeah, for West Coast. At Blunston, Ninja Park, where they ninjaed us properly there, didn't they? We lost it. No, that's a miss.
And mine, which was the
I
ball...
thought we would have, just to expand on that, I thought we would have pinched one. Well, it could have been Collingwood. That would have been the one.
That would have been
but
a tick.
We fell
Melbourne,
over.
that would have been a tick.
Yes.
Freo,
Especially with Jacko Archer leading the way in the Melbourne game.
round 2 against Freo would have been a tick.
Yeah, we had our chances. We just couldn't finish the job.
And I went with, for my sure thing,
Yeah.
I was very confident with Sheasel earns All-Australian jacket, and
We should have.
he should have. So we all know he was robbed there.
And you've probably been robbed. And I would give you a point if it wasn't, the question was a sure thing.
Yeah, I know.
Sure thing should have been Max Gorn or Nick Dacos or the Bont.
Yeah, very true.
But
But
Harry was robbed and you're a bit robbed there, but I'm only a point ahead, so you're not getting it.
no. Headline you won't see. Yours was match review panel works perfectly, so that's a point.
That's a massive point.
And mine, which I think is also came very true, is Kane Corns praises North. So that you won't see that. And I don't remember him saying many positive things about
No,
North.
I think it took into it. I think our draft, trade. I think the Herald Sun bagged us, and he may have come to a little defence. But I'll give you a point because he really didn't jump on the Shinboner bandwagon, did he?
And the last one, before we move on to the ladder, which is funny to look back at, we had our Coleman medal. So you predicted Nick Larkey. He kicked 46 goals. And I went for a hot take and a bit of value, but didn't come true. I picked Toby Green, who kicked 41. Would have been better if he decided to rock up before about round 10 for me and stopped planning his little private function, clearly.
Yes.
But so that's another point for you, as you were closest to the pin.
We're doing close to the pin for
Yeah.
that. Okay.
Yep.
All right. That's generous.
I'm a generous man, what can I say?
Yeah.
So,
The
Do you wanna-
halfway mark, or before we go to the ladder predictors, I'm on 5 and you're on 3.
yeah.
And it's out of 11, so neither of us are setting the world on fire.
Right, well, let's get into ladder positions. So we're going alphabetically, so we'll start with Adelaide. They finished 15th. I predicted them to finish 4th.
you love Adelaide.
And you predicted them for 9th. So
Point for me.
point for you closest to the pin, but we're both way off. Brisbane, they finished 5th. We both predicted they'd finish 1st. So no points go there. Same with Carlton, who finished 8th. We both had them in 3rd. And Collingwood finished 9th. We both had them 2nd. Essendon finished 11th.
Yep.
You had them in 11th. I had them in 12th. So
2 points.
2 points for
I'll tell you what, I'm a breakaway leader here.
Fremantle finished 10th. You had them 15th. I had them 17th.
Oh, another point.
Yes, so not looking good for me here.
Well, score update, 9-3.
Geelong finished 3rd. You had them 12th. I had them 14th. Jeez, we both had them missing the 8 there and
Another point to me.
not looking good. The Gold Coast Suns finished 13th. You had them 6th. And I had them 10th.
Point to you.
So,
You're on the board.
I'm on the
in
board.
the second half.
The Giants, I had them 8th. You had them 4th. And of course, they finished 4th. So 2 points to you. Hawthorn finished 7th. You had them 16th. Reckon they were no good.
Yeah.
And I had them.
They weren't for the first 5 rounds.
And I had them 13th and didn't think they'd be that good. So a point to me there. Melbourne finished 14th. You had them 8th. I had them 9th. North finished 17th. You had them 13th. I had them 15th. So
Oh, you're coming back.
yes. Port Adelaide finished 2nd. We both had them finishing 5th. Richmond finished 18th. I had them in 16th and you had them in 17th. So just a sneaky win for you. St Kilda, you had them in 14th. I had them in 11th. But they finished 12th.
Oh.
So a point to me. Sydney, this is the big hot take. He said, I always underrate Sydney.
Yeah.
And you predicted them to finish 10th, and they finished 1st. So, and I had them in 6th. So not pretty reading for us. Quickly go through the last two. West Coast, we both had them 18th, and they finished 16th. And the Dogs, we both had them finishing 7th, and they finished 6th. So not that far away. Now, we had some listener questions come in that we had to answer way back in February. So, Nick Larkey goals. You had him kicking 80.
Oh, dear.
I had him kicking 68, and of course he finished on 46, so we're both way off.
I'll give you a point. Closest to the pin.
Brownlow votes for LDU. He had 18. You predicted him to get 15. I predicted him to get 19. So,
Another point. You're coming back.
a bit of a late comeback here. When will Big Game Zane debut? We both had him a bit of a storybook debut. Good Friday in front of a packed house, but of course he made his debut round 1 against the Giants, and it was a really good debut for him. His early work was good, fell off a bit as the season went. Which journo will jump on us first? You said Gary Lyon, and I said Riley Beveridge. I don't really know how we grade that.
No, it's a miss. I think the first one was Joey Montagna.
Yeah.
So, well, both a miss. Just a quick score update. There's only 2 points in it. I'm leading. How many questions left?
I don't know. I can't bother counting.
Okay.
Most improved Kenga. You had PC and Big X. I don't know about this taking 2 to try and cover your ass.
No, it's just they're both my boys. Yeah. And I'm taking a point there. Because you cannot argue with that. I don't care who you put.
Oh, I put Will Phillips, so I think you can have it.
I love the point there. Thank you.
How many goals will Harry kick? You had 27. I had 27. You had 25. And he kicked 14. So I think we were in the preseason obviously pushing for a more half forward.
That was not a permanent half forward, but a half forward / mid. And we started half back. Then he was a mid, half back mid, and then he would end up being going forward. So he didn't spend as much time forward as we wanted. So who got the point there?
You. We both predicted the best and fairest winner. We both had LDU winning it.
Nice.
Paul Curtis goals. You had 35, I had 33. He kicked 30. And then we had a bit of a go about how many games will our draftees play? Is the last question second last question there was. We both had Colby playing all. Of course, he only played 16 through injury. He would have played all.
He would have
if it
played
wasn't
them
for
all.
injury.
Yep.
Big Game Zane. You had 16. I had between 12 and 14. And he played 13. We both had 0.
You had between 12 and 13. You would have got 2 points if you'd have just said 13.
Yeah. Taylor Goad, we both had him playing 0.
Yep.
Of course, he did play 0. The big shotgun, Will Dawson. You predicted 2. I predicted 3. And he played 3.
Oh, no, you've hit the front.
And then Riley Hardiman. I predicted 4. You predicted 5. And he played 3. So I've come away with the chocolates.
What? Came home late. I was like, no, I was unbeatable at half time, and just like North found a way to lose.
You went into the change rooms at half time. Brad Scott said, geez, you're going well. Turn the lights off, boys. Have a little lay down, and you went to sleep.
Drink a bit of your own bathwater.
Yeah. The last question, just for those out there, was who was our first win going to be against? We both were pretty strong that it had to be Freo or the club's not going anywhere, and Nostradamus.
we went nowhere. And half time we were looking okay, weren't we? But...
Yeah. But obviously we didn't get our first win until round 13. So that is our crystal ball predictions. I will just ask you off the cuff, where do we finish next year?
No. 14th.
I'm going to say 12th.
Well,
I think
you've won this comp and now you're optimist.
Yeah.
I don't think we've improved that much, but it depends on draft night and whether they can make an impact. But you're asking a lot of 18-year-olds to come in first year.
It's your 20 to 23s getting another season.
Improving.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think Sheasel will be a bona fide top 10 player in the comp next year.
And still miss out on the jacket, probably.
Yeah, probably. Same with LD. And it was good to see a lot of the boys...
Hey, and Big X.
Yeah.
Most deserving of a jacket.
Well, I meant in the top 10. Like, best players in the comp.
Yep.
But yeah, good to see the boys back on track. There was a few photos yesterday. Big X was there. You wouldn't want to be messing with him in a few scrimmages.
No, it's good. When do they officially start? Must be early next month. The first to 4s.
I'm not sure, but we'll be in Melbourne mid to late November, and we'll be straight to the track.
Yes,
and
they'll cancel training because they've done that twice to us this year. And I'll fair dinkum spew Terry Wallace if they do it again.
They hear on the pod we're coming. Boys, go and have a light session in the pool or something.
Close the place down.
Yeah, it's just.
Anyway. I'd like to see him in a bit of pre-season.
I've got a question off the cuff. I've just thought of it, and I can answer it first if you like. Would you look to free up a draft spot? Look at delisting a player that comes out of contract in 2025, because there was obviously all those murmurings about Jaden Stevenson potentially retiring or getting delisted, and that's gone nowhere. And with the big giraffe CCJ, he's having setbacks with his Achilles. He's got his obviously concussion issues.
Yeah, we could do, but we're gonna turn 2 into more draft picks, or have someone get through who we rate, don't we?
Or then they might rate a delisted free agent more than they do.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But probably CCJ if he's having these issues. Whereas touch wood, the GOAT seems to be going all right.
I was about to mention that.
What do you have, about a 2-week head start on him?
Yeah. There was photos from training of he and our man on the podcast. Who's our man? The Sausage Chief.
Oh, yes, up. I did see that, yeah.
Back fully training, and I can't wait for those two to come into the team.
Yes.
Particularly Goda.
Well, yeah, don't be waiting around March, April.
No. He'll play a solid block in the VFL before.
Well, just remember our word out of last year's pre-season, when everyone was off to Paris because they were doing PBs and setting the track alight, he was not so much.
No.
So hopefully he is on his recovery, because I'm very excited about what he can bring as a tall, rebounding halfback.
I will say, when I was listening to back to the Crystal Ball, we were providing some training updates, and I was laughing at all the hype about Darcy Tucker, and I think that might have ended up in my favour too, because he was going to be captain of the All-Australian team by some of the training reports. He was training the house. Nothing against Tuck. I mean, he played his second half of his year was quite good, I thought. Once he moved to half back. He was very serviceable. So
Yeah.
I've got nothing against the bloke, but the way the training
No,
reports...
it was
were coming out-
overhyped, I think, which it always is in pre-season. We'll have it again.
No, it
Who
was-
do you think will be the most overhyped this pre-season?
Oh, who's going to be training? I reckon big game zone. Be training the house down, fit, midfield minutes. There'll be all sorts.
So I remember when we got CCJ to the club. When he came in, he was overhyped his first. Oh, he's huge. He's a monster. He's fit. And
You didn't answer your own question. Who's it going to be?
I'm going to go old man Darling. I think they'll rave about him and his fitness and his work ethic and his leadership, and hopefully it's all true.
Yep. Because it often doesn't come true, but it did this year with the big XR. He's fit.
Yeah, well, he's always been flying.
But it's transformed into his what should have been. I'm going to go again an All-Australian season, but
Yeah. Second in the Sid.
very frustrating.
Second in the Bassie.
No, third.
Third. Yeah, I don't know. You obviously you didn't get on board early enough like I did.
Well, yeah, Clark.
Well, you had him in trouble. That's the biggest miss. You should get -2 and I win the predictions.
Go back to
you
February.
had the rucks. If he was going to be delisted, we'd be looking for a ruck.
You go back to February, and there was about 3 people that believed he would.
Yeah, and you're looking at one of them.
Yeah, so I don't think it was as big a miss as you're saying. Because you got to remember we recorded in February.
Yeah, well, second in the Sid and should have been All-Australian. It's a fairly big miss.
Yeah, okay. But it was justified
But
at the time.
you had lots of friends, is what you're saying.
I'm just saying it was justified at the
Well,
time.
it's easier to swim with the current, isn't it?
I'm happy.
Some of us go upstream.
Oh, jeez, look at you. Me. We call you Nathan Buckley soon, old Fig Jam.
Fig jam.
But we might wrap it up there. We're getting a bit...
I'm a bit pissy because I lost.
Yeah.
So next, I'll do a bit more research for the predictions next year.
Yeah, we didn't do much this year,
No.
so can't do any less.
Didn't get many right.
No. But yeah, that's about us done. We'll be back to review the AFLW, of course, and what else have we got covered, Chief?
We've got the end of year report for all the players, AFL players, that is.
We do, and there's
haven't
going to be
done
some
that
tough grades. It'd be a bit like, not so much now where it's all participation awards. There'll be some tough grades given, like a good 80s teacher. Maybe even bring
Get the strap out.
the ruler, one of those big wooden 1 metre rulers.
Yeah, okay. Well, tough. Well, we're going to be tough.
We finished bottom 5 years in a row. So
Yeah.
we're not flying.
So we're not going to be a lot of A-grade students in the class.
There'll still be a couple.
There will be a couple.
Yeah. But until then, you can follow us on all social media at the Shinboners Podcast. If you have any questions, we might do a little Q&A as well. So you can send in, can be about anything.
Yeah.
The Big Chief rates himself as a bit of a music and movie critic as well. So if you want to get his opinion on those, send them in. Obviously, yeah, we're on YouTube. The plan is to get some video content out at some point. I'm just working my way around it. If you're a bit of an IT boffin, let me know and give me some advice. But that's about us for now. We'll be back probably next week.
Yes. Hopefully a good win for the girls against quality opposition in Adelaide on Friday Night Lights. All right. See you next time. Calm the Kangas.
Thanks for all your support, guys, especially on YouTube for those who have subscribed to the new page. Until next time, go Roos!
Good old North Melbourne, they're champions, you'll agree. North Melbourne is the team that plays to win.